Welcome, everyone, far and near. You have now entered again the cosmic radio receptors of KCRW 100.7 FM in Brookings, Oregon. Thank you for tuning into this week's, once again, multi-fabulous program. I'm Dr. Gigi, and my co-host is, as always, Jacques Kepner. How are you today, Jacques?
I'm doing fine. Great. Greetings, everyone. A big shout-out to our sound engineers, Ray Simon and Tom Bozak. Welcome to the Doc Jacques Radio Variety Show. I also got to throw out a big greeting and thank you to Linda Bozak, who is our listener in the other room. She's always listening. So, Linda, we know you're out there. Thank you for listening to our show and giving us nice critiques and reviews. Yeah. I want to mention that you're hearing this live show on KCIW in Brookings, Oregon. That said, the same show will be rebroadcast in exactly 1 week from now, each and every Wednesday on KZZH 96.7 FM in Eureka, Humboldt at 8 a.m. in the morning. And then a few hours later at 1 p.m. on my old alma mater, KFUG 101.1 FM in Crescent City, California. So now you know, Dr. Gigi and I have your coast covered. Before we introduce our fascinating guest today, Dr. Gigi and I are going to discuss the liver, and in particular, cirrhosis of the liver. Doc, you know who the heavy drinker on King Arthur's court was, right?
Who?
Cirrhosis of Liverpool. Okay, what is liver cirrhosis? That one bombed like a lead balloon. All right, what is liver cirrhosis?
Should have practiced that one. Liver cirrhosis is a condition where healthy liver is replaced by scar tissue, ultimately impairing liver function. Scar tissue cannot function as a liver. The scarring occurs because of long-term liver damage from several causes. And over time, the cirrhosis can lead to total liver failure and other serious complications.
What causes liver cirrhosis of the liver?
Causes include chronic hepatitis, which means chronic inflammation of the liver, which can be caused by the hepatitis B or C viruses.
Are they still, do a lot of people still get hepatitis B and C?
Well, they don't get it, but a lot of people have it, but they don't get it anymore.
Learn to live with it.
Much.
Right, okay.
Excessive alcohol consumption. And certain genetic diseases such as hemochromatosis.
Hemochromatosis?
Where the liver stores too much iron.
Wow, okay. Is it obvious when someone has cirrhosis of the liver?
Well, it can be. There are some signs that someone's liver has failed because the actual functioning, as said before, of the liver has been replaced by scar tissue, and the scar tissue just holds the liver together but cannot do anything else what the liver usually does. So,
what do you get?
You can get yellow skin.
We know that one.
At the same time, dark urine and tan poop. That all goes together. Why? Because the liver cannot process the breakdown products from hemoglobin.
What is hemoglobin?
Our red blood cells that are full with hemoglobin. Hemoglobin, have you not listened to any of the shows that we have done? So red blood cells only live about 90 days, and they carry around hemoglobin, which carries around iron, which carries around our oxygen. So the hemoglobin gets broken down, and then it needs to be recycled to a degree so we can make more red blood cells. So hemoglobin is being broken down, amongst others, to bilirubin.
Oh, he was a ball player next to back in the day. Bilirubin? I remember him.
The bilirubin goes then to the liver, and so it can be excreted either by the urine or by fecal matter, bowel movements. If the liver cannot do the job, the bilirubin will be peed out, and it gives the pee a dark color. Usually the pee is yellow because usually it gets pooped out. So now the stool has tan color. So dark urine, tan poop is a sign that the liver is not quite there.
All right. Okay. I'm not going to make any potty jokes, even though I am tempted. Other than I recently renamed my toilet Jim instead of John, because now I tell people I'm going to the gym. On a serious note, I remember seeing a friend of mine who had cirrhosis of the liver, and he also had a huge distended belly. What was that all about, Doc?
Your friend probably had ascites, which means it has a bloated belly, because the liver also makes a protein called albumin also.
I knew Al too.
All right.
Okay. And
was gonna
Billy,
say.
Billy and Al.
So albumin is made and then it stays in the bloodstream. The albumin's function is to keep the water part of the blood interested in staying inside of the blood vessels.
Okay.
So otherwise, the water will go outside of the blood vessels and it can accumulate in your abdomen. And then you have something called...
That's where yellow-bellied coward. When people call you yellow-bellied cowards, from people that had cirrhosis and cystitis, or the bloating of the belly.
Yeah, so does that make sense? The albumin attracting the water. If you have a little sugar cube and you put a little water drop next to it, the sugar goes and gets the water into the sugar. That's what the albumin does with the blood vessels. It's in there, and so the water part of the blood vessel doesn't leave the blood vessels. So there.
Sort of get it.
Okay.
If there is little or no albumin, what is it? Albumin?
Albumin, you can look
blood
pregnant,
vessel,
right?
Right, the pregnancy.
Because your ascites is so big.
Well, believe it or not, I just recently took a pregnancy test, and it confirmed my worst fears. I'm just fat. Darn it. No, but seriously, did you know that your chances of getting pregnant are hereditary? Because chances are that if your parents didn't get pregnant, you won't either.
Oh, my gosh.
You won't. You won't get pregnant. If your parents never got pregnant, you won't. All right. What are some other liver cirrhosis symptoms, Doc?
Brain fog would be one.
I don't have that ever.
Which is called hepatic encephalopathy. So like sickness of the brain caused by the liver. So those people can appear quite loopy with the liver cirrhosis because the liver cannot change the toxic ammonium into ammonia. That's another thing that the liver does. So now the ammonium goes into the brain and makes one loopy. And the ammonium comes from proteins.
Everybody understands that? Please raise your hands. Up there. Okay.
Okay, so what can be done for that before you ask?
Yeah.
They can drink a lot of lactulose, which gives them diarrhea, but the lactulose actually binds the ammonia so that it doesn't go into their brain.
And
So that it can be pooped out. Yeah.
Back to potty humor. Anything else, doctor?
Yes, you can have a lot of bruising. The liver also makes chemicals that are needed for blood clottings.
Yeah, I bruise easily.
I do, but I think your liver function is okay.
Yeah.
So if those clotting factors, they're called, if they're not made, then it takes much longer to clot, and also tiny little blood vessels that might get injured by just being alive will give you tiny little, they're called petechia, little bruises on your arms, teeny tiny ones or big ones.
Okay. All right. And what's the most current update on liver transplants? Back in the day, I remember they were few and far between.
Yeah.
And are they becoming more common?
Well, listen to this. According to the American Liver Foundation,
ALF. We know about the ALF. I subscribe to there.
There were about almost 9,000 liver transplant surgeries in the U.S. every year.
Last year, yeah.
So a doctor or somebody else may recommend a liver transplant for a person with end-stage liver disease. The liver doesn't work anymore. A person with this condition might die without a transplant. However, there is only a limited number of donor livers because you can take part of a live liver and put it to a person who needs a liver transplant, and then it will regroup. The big thing is, for example, if the liver cirrhosis comes from alcohol consumption, those people must stop drinking for at least 6 months before they even considered,
Wow. Okay, and they'll put you on. So everybody get out there and donate your organs. It's not that hard. It takes guts to be an organ donor. Well, if you have bad kidneys, there's the life-saving kidney dialysis machine, right? That keeps people alive. Isn't there something for the liver?
Well, there is a therapeutic device called a liver support system.
An LSS, right.
Or dialysis that can assist in performing the functions of the liver. And we just learned there are a gazillion, right? So it is only used for acute care, like emergency care, and not like the dialysis machines that are used chronic.
For long term. Okay, very interesting, Doc. Any final thoughts on today's subject of chatting shares?
Liver cirrhosis is a progressive disease and often irreversible, depending on how much liver you have cirrhosed or scarred. Early diagnosis and treatment of the underlying cause of liver damage are crucial to slow down or prevent the progression of the cirrhosis. So one can do lifestyle changes, as in not drinking alcohol, managing other health conditions, and being healthy, exercising, drinking a lot of water, eating good food.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, for me...
And not do any needle, drug, or other
I'm going to do
things.
that. But for me, this is kind of a wake-up call. Yep, ever since you told me to watch my drinking, doctor, I now drink in front of a mirror. Okay, thank you, Dr. Gigi. I appreciate the information about cirrhosis and liver function. Okay, it's that time that we turn our attention to our guests. For quite a while, we've been hearing the name Wes Bruning. And Wes Bruning, mainly by our friend and sound engineer, Ray Simon. I forgot to get their pronounce.
That cost me a lot of money.
But other friends and associates kept mentioning Wes as a very interesting man who, amongst many talents, is an inventor. Wes and his charming wife, Judy, live amongst us in our coastal region. And after meeting him recently, we knew he would make a great guest on the show, where we love conversing with bright people that excel at what they do best. That said, let me take a moment to consider the world around us. The radio waves bringing us together today were first harnessed by Guglielmo Marconi in 1901, when the first transmissions of the telegraph spanned the Atlantic Ocean, providing that the invisible forces could connect and unite the world. And since then, look how far we've come. Look how many comforts and necessities have come to us through invention. Every human comfort, every marvel of our modern age began as a spark in somebody's mind, right?
Yeah, that's right.
A moment when an inventor saw not what was, but what could be. And the art of invention isn't just about solving a problem. It's about seeing problems that others might not even know exist.
Well put.
Look at how we take our cellular phones for granted, and GPS, and before that, the computer, telephone, light bulbs, TV, car, rail, and air travel. The list goes on and on and on. And it's not just the courage to tinker, but often to fail and then try again, and to believe that the impossible is simply the untried. Today, we're honored to speak with Wes Bruning, an inventor who understands that behind every breakthrough lies not just inspiration, but perspiration, curiosity, and an unwavering faith in human integrity. And so, without any more verbiage from me, Dr. Gigi and I wish to welcome Wes to the Doc and Jacques radio show.
Welcome.
Well, thank you very much, folks. It's wonderful to be here this afternoon.
Right on. And you spell your name Bruning.
That's correct.
Bruning. There we go. I got it right.
Cool.
Got it right.
Okay. The German name, right?
Yeah, German name, all right.
So
My grandfather was from Kiev. Kiel.
Oh, Kiel, Northern Germany.
Northern Germany, yes.
Very cool.
Do they
Yeah.
have strong accents? And no, they have
In
perfect-
Germany,
Yeah,
super strong accents. Well, West doesn't have one now.
but okay, you lead into the questions for us.
We'll start from the beginning,
All right.
Wes. Where were you born and raised?
I was born in San Diego. And then my dad was in the Navy, so we ended up for most of my life in Virginia Beach, Virginia. He was in the Navy in Norfolk, Virginia. So that's where I went to high school and the first year of college in Virginia Beach.
So what brought you here?
Well, I went to San Diego State University, graduated as an engineer, mechanical engineer. And then after the Army, I was in San Diego, and we moved up here to Oregon in about 1977.
Like to the Portland area, right?
Yeah, Oregon City, actually.
Oregon City. Cool.
So how long have you lived here in the Brookings area?
Just a little over 3 years now.
Wow, nice. You're Ray Simon's neighbor?
I am, right next door.
Is that a liability?
Oh, you'd be shocked at the stories. Shocked.
You know, Donna is totally cool. And Donna and Judy are good friends.
Well, Donna's cool. Yeah,
Ray guy.
cool, yeah.
I mean, he's got his button on he's got his finger on the button all the time in there.
So what did you do in your career during what? You were a mechanical engineer, or
Yes.
still are. What did you actually do?
Well, I went to work for Tektronix and a variety of jobs there, but I ended up working on inkjet printers.
Whoa.
And we developed the first color inkjet printer.
Wow.
Was that your input, or were you just in the periphery?
No, I was part of the design group.
Oh,
I actually have a patent on inkjets.
Wow. And when was that?
That was, when was that? Probably late 1980s.
How cool. Now, if you have to, this is off cuff, if you had to recommend a good printer for someone, we're in the market for a printer, what would it be a brother or I don't know. It's okay to talk about. This is off cuff, but like I said, do you have any preference on?
No, they're all excellent.
They're all excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
And compared to what we produced way back then, they are incredibly excellent.
Right.
Yes. Because we produced color and we had cyan, magenta, yellow, red, blue, and green. That was what we had. And we thought it was gorgeous.
And why is printer jet ink so expensive?
It's more expensive than blood, actually.
It's unbelievable. I mean, you get these little tiny little spots. Well, we'll talk about that later. Okay, so are you considered also an inventor?
Well, that's what I did in my off hours. Yeah, I tinkered and built stuff. I used to ask my question, what the world need is such and such. And I would build it. Just sometimes just for me, I was the world at the time. And I'd use it myself. Some of them made it to market. Most of them didn't. At various stages of design that end or continue on.
Oh,
so a couple of them made it, but most of them just ended up in my garage.
We met just not too long ago where we have sat down and we talked about some of your history. You gave me a long list of actually so many things that you have been involved in. I'm holding the paper. There must be 30 or 40, 50 things that you have done. It gives us, you should be very proud of that, but give us a short list of some of the things that you have done.
Well, some of my favorites, one was the art of invention, which we'll talk about shortly.
Okay.
But also an alliteration, a little booklet, alliteration, T is for tycoon.
Okay, can people find this booklet on?
No,
Okay.
Never made it to publication.
Okay.
I gave out copies of it to friends, but that's about as far as
you have digital. You showed me pictures of it.
I did, yeah. T is for tycoon is the ABCs for the future MBA. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, we saw the book.
All right, what else? Come on.
Yeah.
And we have, let's see, we have...
so many things.
Well, one of the early ones, which really actually made it to production, but I couldn't believe it, was called the Floppy Flag. Remember when we had floppy disks? Those little 3.5 discs, right?
Yes.
Stick them in your computer.
Yeah.
Right.
And then you'd read your files off them, and then you'd leave, and you'd forget the disk was in the computer and leave it and lose it.
Right.
Well, this was a device that attached to that floppy, so it hung out the front of the computer, so you couldn't walk off and forget it.
A little blinking light on it or something.
Put your
What about the
keys on it?
the Geek-a-Cycle?
The Geek-a-Cycle. Well, that was an issue. My mother would harangue me for spending so much time at a computer. I wasn't getting exercise. So I said, okay, Mom, I'll get exercise. So what I did was I built a desk which had a stationary bicycle
built into
it. So you could sit there and pedal your stationary bicycle, recumbent bicycle, while you worked on your computer.
Oh.
Yeah, so they're doing that. You can buy those in physical therapy or so. You can buy them. You can also have them for your arms, so you exercise your arms. Mm-hmm. But you were the first one.
Yes, I actually sold a couple dozen of them. I went down to Walmart and bought 24 stationary bicycles.
Oh.
So I had to sell at least 24, which is what I did.
What a trip. Okay, now,
cool.
Were you always inventing things as a child?
Yes, I was. As a child, I had Lincoln logs, Tinker toys, and an erector set.
Wow.
And I use that daily, all three of them.
As an appraiser of art and antiquities and things like that, the Lincoln logs are quite popular, quite valuable these days. If you have the original 10.
If I only had those today, yes.
Right. What do you consider was your first invention?
My first one was a bicycle rack attached to a van.
Okay.
You attach it to the back of the van, you stick your bicycle on it and haul it off. And that was before they were really available. That was back in 1970, early 70s. And I'd use it to haul my bicycle around to go to college and back home and that sort of thing.
And you showed us the thing, which we won't talk too much about the out-of-sight hidden recipe card holder, which was phenomenal. You just have to see it. It's too bad we don't have the visual, but it was just a way you can attach your recipe card holder to your counter and then always have it there.
And then door, right?
Yeah, but hide it when people came out and you didn't want them to know. Very, very interesting. A chicken watering system?
Yeah, a chicken watering system where you had the tanks outside the coop area, and you could fill up the tanks very easily, and then that would drain by tubes into the coop and into a cup, which would then self-fill as the chickens drank it. Yeah.
Right, a bigger tube, a bigger container outside, so you don't have to step into their...
Don't have to go inside.
Yeah, right.
Man. Have you spent much time and money getting your ideas to the market, the ones that made it to the market?
Not that much, no. A lot of letters, a lot of talking to companies to carry it and that sort of thing. As a matter of fact, you mentioned the recipe card holder.
You're right. The secret out of sight.
Out of sight recipe card holder.
Yeah,
That's right.
out of sight card holder.
Bob Moore of Moore's Bob's Red Mill is a friend.
Yes,
was a friend of mine.
Rob.
And he actually carried it in his retail store up in Milwaukee
Right. Oh.
for a number of years. Yeah, they don't anymore, but they did for a while. They had it in stock.
And you invested what? How much? Thousands of dollars into this?
Thousands. Oh, it was a mistake. It was a real accident to design that thing. It had the original purpose had nothing to do with holding recipe cards, but that fell apart, and I had to redirect what I had. And I had a $20,000 mold that I had made in Taiwan.
Wow.
So what am I going to do with this thing? So I had to do some serious thinking about how I could redirect the usage of this device.
You know, you can use the 3D printer, right?
Well, now you can.
These-
Those are amazing things. Yes, they are.
Yeah, right.
Great
Wow.
stuff.
Now, overall, has it been worth it?
All these inventions.
Well, what they say is, if you don't make profits, what you get is knowledge and education. So I got a ton of education. So yes, it's been a lot of fun. I did a lot of this stuff just for my own benefit, my own fun, which I really enjoy. Wow. And I got some hanging on the walls at home, and I got stuff around the house I actually use, but they never saw the light of day as commercial products.
Do you still invent now in these?
Yeah, I still do. I not as avid as I used to, but I still make stuff and use it around the house.
Now, when you do invent these new items, like she said, or are you just making improvements on other things that?
No, these are things that don't exist. What the world needed is and I come up with something.
See, that's just amazing. I don't have that mind because if I don't have it, I probably don't need it or don't even think about it usually. So that is amazing. You have that inventor mind, like Jacques here has the art mind. It's like, how do you come up with those art things? So
Ideas. Well, when you think about it, I always look at things and I say, how long has it been since this has been refashioned? Toothpaste dispenser, for instance, toothpaste tube, or I don't know, a potato peeler or whatever I'm using. I would say, how come they haven't come up with a better one? That potato peeler is the same potato peeler they were using at the turn of the century and back in the 1900s and 1800s. It just sometimes seems like if you could come up with a better mousetrap, right?
Well, there's a lot of very inventive people out there that are constantly coming up with things that just amaze me. Yeah. So it's very nice to see some of the new implementation of old ideas.
Right on. And that brings us to your fascination with inventors and the inventing process. Because you not only are an inventor, you really know what is going on with other famous and not so famous inventing people, inventors and their processes. Tell us about your Art of Invention series that you have created.
Well, when I was working as an engineer in Tektronix, I got a patent. It was on inkjets, and it had a really nice line drawing on the patent itself. And I acquired a book later about famous patents, and all of them were associated with this line drawing, which is absolutely gorgeous. These guys that draw these drawings for patents are true artists. They're all just pen and ink, and they're just black and white.
Oh, you
but
mean
they
the
are
actual
beautiful.
patent
The actual
certificate?
patent pictures.
Oh,
Has a picture on it, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I said, the world needs to know about this. So I developed the Art of Invention. So the art of the invention is the picture on the patent.
Oh,
Right. And then
And I would take those and frame those in 16 by 20 and with a description of the patent and some backstory to it and hang it on the wall.
we saw them.
I got multiple hanging on the wall at home right now, yeah.
Those
they're amazing.
detailed pictures,
Oh,
drawings. And it's like the people that are designing the dollar bill. I mean, those kind of
Yes.
those kind of artists that could do that.
With the dimensions and numbers and A's and B's and centimeters.
Yeah, and all the lines
Very-
connecting this and that.
Yeah,
and
very
some of them
cool.
are fascinating. Kind of tell us some of your favorite invention or inventor stories.
Well, let me start with the first one, which is the most bizarre
Okay, let's hear
Yeah,
about
let's
a
hear
bizarre
it.
one.
patent I have ever seen in my life. And I just ran across it recently. Spoiler alert, this is terrible.
All right.
right.
Warning.
Warning.
No swear words, but let's hear it.
Is to facilitate giving birth.
Oh, well, that's not so bad. Is it some sort of that clamp or what is it? One of the
It's worse. What you do is you take a large round table, very large round table, and you, a pregnant woman, you strap her down on the table with her head in the center.
Okay.
And then you spin the table.
Oh, my.
And the centrifugal force then helps the baby travel down the birth canal. And you catch it in a net. This thing was actually patented in 1965. You think it comes out of the
no.
Middle Ages, a torture device.
Yeah.
Was it, so the drawing of that shows a woman
It shows a woman strapped
to
down.
a table?
Yes, it does. Yes.
So now,
my
if you do
goodness.
patents, you have to show some success. So that was tried and be deemed. I mean,
You do have to have success? I don't know.
Well,
you
for some
have to
strange reason,
show
which I
that
don't
it
understand, I really never made it into commercial success.
And it was, what, fairly recent? Back in
1965.
1960, it's modern history.
1965, yeah.
I know,
Oh,
right?
my. And how long does the patent last, you know?
About 20 years.
So we can
20 years. Yeah.
We can reinvent it. I'm like,
It's called the centrifugal drop. You drop them while you're spinning.
Absolutely. You kind of fling them out.
Oh my goodness,
gosh,
that is very, very bizarre. Okay, give us some other good.
Okay, some better ones. You mentioned earlier about GPS and cell phones.
Yes.
Okay, there's some technology in both GPS and cell phones that was invented by Hedy Lamarr.
The movie star,
it's a movie star
German
actress.
or Austrian, or
Yes, that's right.
Hedy Lamarr was German.
Back in 1942.
No.
What?
And she developed frequency hopping, which is used in those technologies. And it was actually used as a part of the guidance system
Wow.
of the Mark IV torpedo during World War II.
Oh, because they would set off a frequency, right? The ships, as a torpedo is heading its way, they could set off.
Well, frequency hopping helps to avoid jamming, where the enemy would jam a certain frequency. Well, you hop away from that frequency and broadcast on another frequency.
So, but this is something we kind of use in GPS today, right? I mean,
Yeah, that's what. Yeah.
and Hedy Lamarr was ahead of the game. This is truly her.
Wow.
I always heard she was a smart beauty,
That
but
is.
She was very smart. Yeah, she used to say she said all a girl has to do to look glamorous is to stand there and look stupid. That was she said. So she was not in that category.
right, she was not in that category. I've always admired Hedy Lamarr.
Now,
for
when you look at those patents, you have to actually understand them, right? I mean, or at least you need to try to understand what they're all about, right?
Well, it's not that difficult generally.
Yeah.
Now, some of them are very complicated, of
Yeah,
course, but
yeah.
generally, like for instance, Abraham Lincoln had a patent.
Tell us about that.
No, we were talking about this before the show. It's amazing.
Our 16th president. He's the only president who ever had a patent.
Mm-hmm.
But when he was a young man, as a lawyer, he would travel around in the Midwest a lot on the rivers.
Right, Missouri and
riverboats.
Mississippi. Yeah, you're right.
Mississippi River. And on the riverboats, and a riverboat laden with cargo would ride low in the water, and it would get hung up on a sandbar. And the traditional method of freeing a riverboat from a sandbar is to unload it
So you'd have to go through all that effort.
for as long as
Yeah,
that would take, a
huge.
day or 2 days maybe.
Yeah.
And then the boat would float up a little bit, or maybe the current would change or something, and the boat would float off the sandbar.
Wow.
Well, Abraham Lincoln saw that, and he said, what the world needs is a pair of bellows, one on each side of the boat, that you could then pump up into the water and lift the hull
Kind of like a pontoon?
like
sort
a
of,
pontoon.
on
Exactly.
either side of the
Inflatable.
barge. How interesting.
Yeah.
Was it successful, do you know?
No, it never hit the commercial market, no. He actually, he made a scale model of it, which is in the Smithsonian Institute today.
Oh, darn.
Oh, dang.
That idea didn't float. Ha.
Did it for Yes, it did, as a matter of fact. And that was back in 1849.
This is cool. Give us one more. We got a
We've
great coming
got
up in a
another
minute and
minute.
a
Now
half,
tell us another.
Another minute. Okay, well, Houdini
Oh yeah,
yeah, we saw
Houdini.
that.
Man.
has a patent. Yes, he does. Now, he was an escape artist.
Yeah.
Right.
So what he recognized was hard hat divers would go down into the ocean to, say, free a sunken ship or something like that. And their hoses that came down to their helmet to supply air.
So the diving bell, that big brass thing they were.
That's set on their head,
Yeah.
yes. And the hoses would get tangled up in a wreck, and they couldn't get loose. And the divers would drown. Nobody could get them out. So what Houdini did was he devised a two-piece suit with a hard helmet. He had a hard helmet on top and in like the shirt part, and then a pair of pants. And they could be disconnected really quickly.
Right, it like a belt, where your belt line would
Like
go.
a belt. Just flip it open, the pants would drop down,
And then you could
and
free
then
yourself.
just free yourself out and swim to the surface.
Did not get the bends going up, right?
No,
Oh, man.
did
That's right. That would be
Oh.
that'd be an issue.
All right, we are at that mid-break show. We can tell we're having fun, right? When
Right.
the time just flies. You're tuned into KCIW 100.7 FM in Brookings, Oregon. We wish to continue to thank major supporters of community radio. And if you're interested in becoming a major supporter, the season is open right now. Reach out to me through Facebook or contacting kciw.org. I want to take this time to announce some of these important major supporters, and a couple of them are Marie and Brett Curtis, our next-door neighbors at Remax Coast and Country Realty in Brookings. Michelle Bubert with our own vibrant local Curry County Chamber of Commerce. Advanced Airlines. Advanced Airlines is now flying in and out of nearby Crescent City to Oakland and LA 7 days a week. Chetco Medical and Aesthetic Center, located right here in Brookings, Oregon. Dr. John Kirk's Porta-Pint Craft Brewery, now with 2 locations on Northcrest and South Beach in Crescent City. Jim Doc Bellardi has teamed up with Dan and Phyllis Schmidt. Thank you all for your constant support of community radio. And if you want a friend and find out more about Jim, you can friend him on Facebook by going to Jim Doc Bellardi. Nick Rail and his 501c3 project, Partnership for the Performing Arts Event Center, or PPA known as it is, soon to be constructed in Crescent City and serving all of our region. And Nick is going to be on the show soon, and we'll be talking about the biggest art and the biggest musical festival that's going on in our area. I'll come back to some of these major supporters in just a bit, but let's get back to Wes Bruning and talk about, okay, so Houdini comes up with this quick escape life-saving thing, and
Yes, he
right,
does.
we saw the pictures of it. And
Yeah, did
it's
that make
hilarious pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they are his pictures, or whoever made the.
Well, that's the art of invention.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Those
It is.
beautiful line drawings.
Yeah, very cool. Now, did that make it into?
No,
Also not.
no, it never went commercial.
Wow.
I don't know why, but it was a good idea, but it just wasn't adopted.
Now you can look up patents on the internet.
Yes, you can.
See, and so I've.
Go to the U.S. Patent Office
Yeah.
on the internet.
Tens of thousands of
Millions.
millions,
Yeah.
millions.
Because
Right.
they're
Duh.
public.
That's me. Yeah.
Public knowledge, and it's pretty amazing. So I have looked at some for giggles, and I did not think they were that easy to understand. So you're just a
If you're a
different
doctor
caliber.
that writes weird.
Now, we have also noticed that many inventors end up battling their money away in court, defending their inventions, and then they die broke or without the
Right.
pay.
So many tragic stories.
Absolutely true.
What's your
One of the, there's 2 classic examples of that. One would be Charles Goodyear, who invented vulcanization of rubber.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a passion about trying, at the time, this is back in 1800s, you'd get rubber from a rubber tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it was a sticky stuff.
Right.
And it really wasn't good for much. He tried making rain slickers out of it or boots or something, and in warm weather it would stick together and melt, and it really wasn't very functional. So he worked on trying to come up with a way to make rubber less sticky and still have its, its durability, and he could bend it and that sort of thing. So he worked for 10 years trying to figure out how to do this. Just was obsessed with it. His family was in destitute poverty. He lost several children. He went to debtor's prison. I mean, it was just horrible for 10 years. And finally, one day, he mixed some sulfur with rubber. He tried everything, picked flour with it, breadcrumbs, whatever, to put with this rubber to try to make it into something useful.
Sulfur?
He used
Powdered sulfur.
Powdered sulfur. Wow. And he accidentally dropped it on a hot stove.
Yeah.
And guess what happened? It vulcanized. It became non-sticky and still pliable.
Yeah.
And he invented vulcanizing rubber right there. It was an accident. And but he did die in poverty. He never made a nickel out of his invention. There was another fellow in England who actually also had it, and he had a patent. Goodyear had a patent, and another fellow in England also had a patent and pretty much took over the market. And Goodyear then died. He went to court, tried to get his suppress his patent so his could prevail, and he died in poverty.
Wow.
How much longer did he live after him?
Not a whole lot.
Not a.
Yeah, we always hear about Nikola Tesla,
That's
right?
right.
All those people that have just famous, great ideas, and they die destitute because they are battling people that steal.
What is the other example?
Another one was Eli Whitney, the cotton gin. Eli Whitney was from Massachusetts. And one summer he was down in the South. This is in the early 1800s. He was down in the South. And of course, the South, their main crop was cotton. And he observed the slaves, tons of slaves taking care of the cotton fields. And he observed the slaves picking the cotton seeds out of the cotton. It was very difficult to do. Mm-hmm. And you had to get the seeds out in order to make thread and to weave it. So it was very laborious. So he started thinking about that, and it came up with the cotton gin, which was just a spinning drum with little needles in it that would comb the cotton and comb the seeds out. And of course, cotton was a huge crop of the South. And when somebody saw that, and he had a patent on it.
Oh, uh-huh.
So everybody in the South started making their own cotton gins and selling them. And he went to court and battled court in patent infringement and died in poverty.
I want to put a patent on a new name. If there's not Hardy out there should be a gin called Cotton Gin. Famous strain of gin drinking.
Right, a cotton gin. There
I'm
you go.
sure somebody's come up with that. If you haven't, I've got the
After
patent
a
on
cotton
that.
mouth.
You don't have the patent, you have the
It gives you
idea.
cotton mouth.
Waste it.
It's so.
Now, one more story about the cotton gin, if I may.
All right.
It was a contributor to the beginnings of the Civil War,
Okay. So that
as was the plow. John Deere didn't invent the plow, but he improved it.
Uh-huh.
The pioneers of the Great Plains area had to deal with the sod out in the Great Plains, and the current plows that they had just couldn't cut it, so to speak, cut up the sod.
Right.
They'd jam and get all wadded up, and the farmer would have to stop every few minutes and unclog his plow. Well, John Deere came up with a way to come up with shiny polished steel to make a plow, and that cut through the sod in the plains so they could be farmed.
Oh, it was in wood before, right?
It was wood before, exactly, and cast iron.
interesting.
Well, so what we saw then was, as a result of that, we saw expansion to the west. And then in the south, we had Eli Whitney with his cotton gin, and the south down there was cotton was expanding. Now that they could comb the cotton seeds out very easily,
Sure.
this cotton cultivation of cotton was spreading west as well into Mississippi, Alabama, Texas, all that through there. So the big deal was then, these new territories are going to become states. Are they going to become free or slave? Which is it? Because the plow allowed new statehood going toward the west in the northern area, and the cotton gin allowed new states going west in the southern area. Mm-hmm. So there was a big deal of whether they're going to be free or slave states. So the cotton gin and the plow both contributed to westward expansion, which then led to the conflict, a growing conflict, the Civil War.
Very, very interesting.
We're getting a history lesson too. Very cool.
Indeed.
Now, is the patent application for the inventions very difficult and time-consuming?
It's very expensive and time-consuming.
Very expensive.
Very expensive. Yeah, patent, IP, intellectual property lawyers, they get somewhere between $150 and $800 an hour.
Dang.
Depending on the complexity.
Wait a minute.
Well,
and it takes years to get a patent.
Do you know, that's interesting, you brought that up, but do you know why patent lawyers are buried 12 feet under?
Why might that be?
Because down deep, they're really good people. Okay, back to what you're saying. So these attorneys that are patent attorneys, which always fascinated me, and I was going before I flunked out of law school, and that is how interesting. So those people are paid very well.
Big bucks.
no,
AI
I
is
wonder,
taking
I was just going to say,
AI is
AI will
taking it,
make
yeah.
all of it probably much cheaper
A lot
because you
obsolete,
can look
right?
it up. AI can look it up.
So it's
See all the-
expensive. It takes how long? If you have a unique idea and you wanted to come up with it, you're going to have to go to get one of these.
Well, a simple patent would probably take several years. That's a simple one. What has to happen is you have the patent office, they have thousands and thousands of patents that they're dealing with all the time. So there's a manpower constraint always. But then they have to research all the existing patents to make sure that your application doesn't infringe on something that's already there.
So I happen to have a patent, which who doesn't, right? So anyway,
These two, I'm sitting between these two patent holders. So I don't care.
one, so not because I'm smart, because I misinterpreted what my boss wanted to do, and I just thought I knew what he wanted, and he didn't. But he saw he saw the
born out
potential.
of a mistake again, right?
Yeah. So I remember, so he actually put the patent in 2003 and it was granted in 2009. So it's and that I'm guessing it was a simple patent. I don't know. But there were not a lot of drawings, but I do remember we had to show its efficacy, that it actually worked back then. So if you think about it, it's a lot of things. Even I can have a patent without knowing that the world needs certain things, right?
Right. She has
Very cool. So that's
You have
6
three
years,
in
right?
your name, right? Patents in your name. That
Yeah, but
you
they're
still
all
get
custom.
residual, right? You get
Yeah,
a few
yeah.
thousand every year. From time to time, we see those ads and commercials, Wes, appealing to inventors that used to. We haven't owned a TV in, I don't know, 15, 20 years. We don't know if they're still on, but there used to be, are you an inventor?
Right.
Call 1-800-INVENTION and bring your invention to market.
Right.
Do you have you ever used these services, or are they still out there? No.
No, the invention, the big invention about that is how to get their fingers in your billfold.
Right. This is what I would always think. They're just looking at
Pretty much, yeah.
right, almost a scam.
Because what you have to do is not only get the patent, but then just having a patent doesn't guarantee you're going to be successful. All a patent does allows you to sue someone that tries to make a product similar to yours. That's all.
Are they like global? I know.
Well, no, you have U.S. patents, you have European patents. I mean, there are different patents.
So
what do you think?
discouraging, right?
Japanese. Well, I had this out-of-sight recipe card holder that I told you about, right?
Out-of-sight recipe.
Within 6 months of selling that thing, I found one on the market that had been made in Japan. They copied it.
Yeah.
In 6 months. They had a duplicate from, China. I'm not
China.
China. And it was imported. So in 6 months, they had developed it and imported it in the United States and set up a distribution.
And probably cheaper because, right?
You still got a bunch of those things?
Oh, well, before I moved to Brookings 3 years ago, I had a garage. I had 10,000 of them in
Because
the garage.
the other day, it was so you said, well, including this thing, and you opened the envelope. It was a sealed envelope.
Yes, it was.
That you sent out to Vegas when you send it. And it's like, he must have a bunch of these just to be opening one of these
I did.
sealed envelopes just
did.
for us. Well,
But moving down to Brookings, I said, I'll never use these. So I donated them to the landfill. No, actually, no, I didn't. I didn't actually. I took them to
for a store or something?
a plastics manufacturer, and they reground them and used
good.
plastic.
all right.
They didn't end up in a landfill. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
I hope they open.
All right. What viability does a program like Shark Tank have for inventors?
Well, I would think it'd be pretty good if you get funded by one of those guys on Shark Tank
Or gals, yeah.
or gals, and they help you with your marketing,
Yeah.
and positioning and distribution. That'd be very valuable. Because, see, that's what it really takes. One guy with a small invention really doesn't stand much of a chance. You can sell it at your local, fair. You get a little booth at the fair, which I did with the Geek-a-Cycle. I had a booth at the Clackamas County Fair. And
How cool the gig, because you'd be on it on your computer doing work while you were
absolutely,
working out.
we're sitting up there on the stage that I built. Yeah,
And you sold all 25.
I sold all 25 of them. Yeah,
Wow.
and I actually had one myself for years. I just got rid of it when I moved to Brookings.
You donated it to Ray Simon, and we heard. Is it hard to raise capital and speculators to invest in your product?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's a gamble. It's a gamble. What you do is you look at an invention. You say, what the world needs is, an XYZ. And then people look at that and say, well, how much is that worth? They talk about $1 million inventions, $10 million patents, $20 million patents. So they got to put a monetary value on that patent. That if it were to take it to market, how many would it sell? Who would buy it? It's a serious marketing problem. So, yeah, it's all speculation. And, of course, you got the hucksters out there, the P.T. Barnums, that'll try to sell anything. But a little guy doesn't have much of a chance to make a big impact.
If you go to the Shark Tank or such people, you really have to know everything about it. The profit margin for how many 1,000 or 100,000 you make and how much investment. I mean, you can't just be having the brain to make an invention, also the brain of calculating out.
You got to present the whole business.
Yeah,
very
it's
true.
amazing how much they have to know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
One example, you mentioned something by accident. The Post-it note was an accident.
The Post-it note. Okay. Tell me about
The
Post-it.
3M Post-it note. Yeah. The scientist there, his name was Dr. Spencer Silver. And he was trying to make a super glue, but he screwed up. And he ended up with this substance that had very, very little adhesion to it. And he tried to figure, what am I going to do with this? I messed up. I didn't get super glue. So they years later, a guy was in church and had his hymnal open, and he wanted to put some bookmarks in his hymnal, and they kept falling out. And he remembered this guy's weak adhesive. So he got some of it and smeared it on a piece of paper and stuck it in a hymn book. And he had a little bookmark now.
And then you could also remove it without tearing.
And remove it without damaging the book.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
it caught on.
Glues.
Mr.
Just
Post.
Look when you go to like Home Depot and you see the amount of glues and tapes they have today.
Wow,
All these
yeah.
variations of the Gorilla stuff. And so heavy.
What?
And that took 10 years, by the way. 3M, a major corporation, took 10 years from the time it was made till the time it actually hit the market.
Well,
Yeah.
because it was hidden for several years.
And it was the same with whiteout. I know that I read recently about a gal that invented the whiteout because she was a secretary getting tired of the old, so she invented the white that had to dry fast. It had to be rushed on quickly, and it's like billions of gallons of white. That's not more about it.
Do you know who she was?
I just no, I don't remember.
Remember the singing group, the Monkees?
Okay.
Remember Nesbitt? The guy who wore the
Yes,
hat?
right.
His mother.
No.
Yes, it was his mother.
Richard Nedbit or
my
Richard.
gosh.
Nedbit. Yeah. How and it's
Michael.
Michael Nedbit.
Michael.
There we go. That's his brother was Richard.
It was his mother.
What a
Now,
trip.
what branch, if any, of the government is involved with analyzing those applications
sir.
and granting the patents then?
The U.S. Patent Office?
The U.S. Patent and Trademark Office, yes. And that's in the Department of Commerce in the executive branch.
Wow. And I wonder if it's a low-hanging fruit. Why hasn't it been eliminated with all these other jobs being lost on the federal level?
They might,
But-
but a little less just because AI is taking over quite a... I'm sure
AI is just an incredible invention.
Yeah, right? There's
Yeah.
an
It is
already
literally
has
in everything.
global
these days.
basis, yeah. There it is. What's your advice to people that have a great invention or an idea that they think will improve life? And
Well, I was
their
just
life?
talking to a fellow just last night that was asking me, what could I do with my idea,
What was his idea? I want to steal it.
And, he said, should I get a patent? And the answer is, I think, is no. You don't need a patent to go to market. And you're not going to, unless you get a big distributor or a big manufacturer behind you. And that's the other thing. You could go to some company and say, hey, I've got this thing. And would you like to take it and productize it and market it? And the company looks at it. And first off, you'd give them a non-disclosure agreement,
yeah.
right?
Right.
Unless you want to keep it secret. But what they would say is, well, we're working on that in the back room. Once you tell them all about it. Oh, we got that going on in the back room. We
Yeah.
don't
Right.
see you around, kid.
Sure.
Yeah, right, sure, exactly.
Yeah,
And then they can
that's
just take
horrible.
and run with it.
Sure.
But the chances of taking an individual's idea to a market these days is pretty slim. You have to get backed by Shark Tank or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, if you get it
And
figured
then
out,
you have
or if
more-
I always send people emails of my ideas. I say, okay, now you know other people you shared. In case I always think one day I'll be in a court. Just to say, show us the earliest evidence that you have, and you have a better
Now,
way.
we have a big secret to spill here.
Yeah, it's not a secret, okay, but hit it with it.
Well, this
We've got
was
about
a secret
5,
for us.
6 minutes.
Okay, so Wes, you have your own upcoming radio broadcast show right here on KCOW.
100.7 FM.
Tell us all about it.
I'm working on it, yes. It's called the Cascadia Prep Radio. And what the idea is to look at the natural perils that we face, the wildfires, the earthquakes, the excessive heat waves back east, for example. And how can one, as an individual, prepare and mitigate the problems that one would experience in going through those things. So the idea is to look at disasters and how we prepare for them. The purpose of the show is to raise awareness and then motivate people to action, to get their house in order, get a plan in place to deal with these things when they strike. Several years ago, we had some major fires right over on the other side of the hills.
Right, we're down in Crescent City. We were really devastated.
Yeah.
by 'em. Yeah, they were right. We could watch the hills right over Gasky and all those places
Absolutely.
on fire, and we didn't have water for 8 days.
Well, a while.
Or electricity, yeah.
And I was told, I wasn't here at the time, but I was told that you could see the smoke right on the other side of the hills here to the east of us. And had the wind been right, that fire would have come right down the Chetco River.
Yeah.
And Brookings would have been reduced to cinders.
Would have been smoked, yeah.
Yeah. So what do you do?
Right. Okay. So how many of us are really prepared, right? I mean, do you find most people are not prepared?
Most people don't. They don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah. Do you know what? In a way,
It's
we
so,
don't.
it's so
It's not going to happen if you don't think about it.
that's right. It won't happen. Stick your head in that little hell in the sand right there, and you're good.
So the premise is going to be on preparing
Yes.
on for these natural disasters. For instance, the caldera off the coast here, right? It's not if, it's when it blows.
Doesn't matter when.
Yeah.
And then it could produce a huge tsunami, and we all live on the
Earthquake.
coast. And everybody hearing this thing in south of us to Eureka, all the way up north along the coast, we are directly affected by this.
Yes, we are.
But
the thing of it is, we've been hearing about this since we were kids. My mother, back in Virginia, used to tell me, "Don't go to California; it's going to break off and fall into the ocean any time now."
yeah, I've heard that many times.
I was in high school when I first heard it, way back when, and it hasn't happened yet. So because it hasn't happened so far, it probably won't, right? Well, No,
That's
wrong.
The
logical.
longer it doesn't happen, the higher the.
The longer it doesn't happen, the
Probability,
more likely it
yeah.
is. That's right.
Now, tell us about the format. How long is it? Is it weekly?
The show.
Do you have
the show.
guests?
Is it a weekly show?
It'll be a half-hour show and weekly.
Yeah.
And we'll interview experts to come in and tell us what we should be doing, how we should be planning, what we can expect, what resources we have from the government to help us out. We're going to look at not only the preparation, but also the psychological effects of going through. We have several families here in Brookings that have been burned out in the fires just 3 or 4 years ago.
Oh, down in Reading. And
Lost everything.
Yeah. Michael Powell and Teresa. are
That's right.
They've
They're
been on
one
the show.
family, exactly, and others. And we'll have them come on and talk about the trauma that they experienced
for sure,
and what they would do differently if they were faced with the same thing. What would they do to
Right.
help themselves out?
Everybody thinks it's not going to be me, right? And then you're faced with these natural disasters that come our way. How interesting of an idea is that? So
Yeah. So how do you come up with that? And do you have a mission statement?
does it have a mission statement for the show, for instance?
Yes, just to raise awareness and motivate for preparation. That's
So
the
how
mission.
how come that is a hobby, so to speak?
Well, when we had that tsunami warnings, 5-6 months ago?
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
We did get a tsunami.
Right.
As a result, it was about 3.5 inches
It went
high.
about 4 inches. You're right.
So it was a big nothing. But we didn't. I heard that siren and I walked out in front of my house and said, "Well, what do I do?" I didn't have a clue.
Right. We head up. You were at work, right? At
Yeah,
the hospital.
he
And
tried to get me.
I head out. Everybody was calling me from the Bay Area. They're all my kids. And Dad, are you okay? And I'm driving up the hill because I'm hearing there's a tsunami coming.
And we had some time when a tsunami is initiated. You have time before it actually hits your shore.
Yeah.
But I think most of us were just clueless as to what we should have done. What should we have on hand? Should have a go bag, have something we can grab and hit the road and be gone homeless for 72 hours before something happens. So yeah, how do you prepare for that? That's what the idea is.
I'm just going to grab Ray Simon and say help.
There you go.
Ray Simon is helping you on this show.
Yes, he is.
He's going to be your part of the construction of this whole thing and as it fly. Well, good luck for you there on that.
very cool.
Yeah, this is going to be a great show.
Well, thank you very much.
Is it going to be a podcast too then?
Yes, it will.
All right.
And I'm sure Tom Bozak will be intricately involved with it, intimately. And so good for you, and thanks for bringing it to KCW. I think it's a fabulous idea.
I think it's gonna be exciting.
Cascadia Prep Radio. And Cascadia meaning that
The Northwest.
the Northwest. Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
All the way from Seattle all the way down.
So that's what you're doing now. What's up? Anything near in the future that other than that? Where do you see yourself in a couple of years? Just hanging out here doing
Just
the show.
hanging out here, yeah.
Just with Ray and Tom. And
That's right.
We'll come on your thing. I'll give you jokes.
Absolutely.
Disaster jokes.
I know,
Now,
right?
that won't go over very good.
No.
We normally ask how people can get a hold of you, but you've already said they don't need to. Or I guess you could let them know once you have the Cascadia Prep Radio.
Sure. Yeah.
You'll let them know and reach out to you. I don't know if you're on Facebook or anything like that.
No, I'm
but-
not.
Okay.
I'm technovia,
Yeah.
technology phobic. Yeah.
Yeah, I said, silence your cell phone. He goes, I didn't bring it with me. It's like, dude, you're untethered. I admire you so much.
Ray's wife was hollering at me the other day that I never answered my phone. I told her, well, I can never find it.
Perfect.
Well, neither can Jacques here. Always, oh my gosh, 50,000 times a day. Hey, Siri, where are you?
Well,
And so then he goes, here I am.
oh. Now, your phone wasn't turned on. I hope everybody heard that. Siri, what time is it?
Silenced.
See? So
Gosh.
she doesn't
my-
talk to me when I
my-
have
It's
phone.
4:54. Okay.
All right, this is okay, folks.
Okay.
We're moving on. Wes Bruning, thank you for coming in. We wish you the very best with your new Cascadia Prep Radio. We look forward to having you on the show again every 6 months or so.
Yes,
We'll have
that'd be
we'll
wonderful.
chat.
I
We'll
would look
talk
forward
about
to that.
other inventions.
Thank you so much.
All right. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you. All right. What time is it, Doc?
It is.
Don't ask Siri.
Fun
Time corner. Okay. Give us a couple of quotes that lead us off.
Okay, so the first quote is by you.
Oh, this is the one I sent.
Invention is born when you throw out all the rules.
Invention is born when you throw out all the rules. I agree. Oh, wait a minute. I have something I have to mention. The other major supporters.
Okay,
This will
go
take
ahead.
just 30 seconds. You need to experience the arts since 1961 at the large reimagined Crescent Harbor Art Gallery. It's a 501c3 in Crescent City, anchored in the harbor right next to the boat. Thank you for your support. Lastly, we have Strike. Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm talking about our region's only bowling center, Tsunami Lanes. Speaking of Tsunami Lanes on 101 in Midtown Crescent City. Finally, Dr. Gigi and I truly thank you for being major supporters. Okay, get back to that another quote.
All right. Necessity is the mother of invention. Having doubts is the father.
I like that one too.
Right.
That
Give
is-
us some jokes. You're funny
Okay,
here.
well, the inventor of the so-called wind chill factor, okay, he died yesterday. He was 86, but he felt more like 64. The inventor of autocorrect died yesterday. May he rest in peace. Yeah. And the inventor of spell correct died yesterday too.
Oh, no.
His funnel will be in a few daisies from now. All right, his was our quotes.
Oh, my gosh.
Okay, the inventor of the taser gun died suddenly this morning. Everyone was shocked. Come on, get with it, Doc. Pull it together.
The daisies was so cute. Okay. Television is an invention that permits you to be entertained by people who would never invite you into your house.
No, who you would never invite.
You would never invite into
She's
your
mixed up, folks. These skills are good. Hey,
I'm still laughing.
the inventor of the air conditioner has died, folks. Yes, thousands of fans are expected to attend the funeral. Hey, the inventor of that TV remote control has finally died. His family is still looking for him. Sometimes I feel like I'm Johnny Carson there. Okay, get on with it. Get some more.
Invention is a process. It's hard to get there overnight.
Okay, that's true.
An inventor is simply a person who does not take their education too seriously.
The inventor of the crossword puzzle moved into our neck of the woods recently. She lives 5 houses down and 2 across.
Eh.
Did you hear that the inventor of fractions was Louis the 116th? Oh, I hear Ray and Tom laughing in the other room. I once dated the inventor of the stopwatch. That was my 15.4 seconds of fame.
Some of the greatest inventors are unknown. Take the wheel, for example. Who invented it?
No one knows, but you're right. Poor person, man or woman, we don't know. Roll thing, better. I only have a few more jokes, so you get going on your quotes.
Do not allow your mind to be imprisoned by the majority. Remember that the limits of science are not the limits of the imagination.
That's a classic. Yeah.
Gosh, I'm still laughing at that.
The inventor of the umbrella was originally just going to call it Brella, but then she hesitated. So stupid. I think we better be over with these we hope we're over these. Hey, the lottery gives you 1 in a million chance that you won't go to work tomorrow. Alcohol gives you 1 in 5. Okay.
All you need is one person to say yes to a new idea.
Well, that's kind of true.
Right?
Yeah, true. Any more?
An inventor should never overlook the significance of an accident or apparent failure.
Right on. That's true, because so many things happen in accidents. Okay, I've got no problem, folks, with genetically modified food. In fact, last night, we had a lovely leg of salmon. I used to be a schizophrenic, but we are all right now.
Okay, folks. Okay,
think that's
stop it. You have been listening to the
God,
Doc
help me.
and Jacques Radio Variety
We had
Show
the end here. Oh, where's my thing?
on KCRW 100.7 FM in Brookings, Oregon. Yeah, so we hope you have enjoyed our show as much as we
Thanks
have.
again to Tom Bozak, Ray Simon, and Linda. Hope you're listening and enjoying this.
Yeah.
As we know you are, thanks for your service. Email us if you know of a talented or interesting person that
Joe.
might be on this Joe. It really doesn't. docandjacques@gmail.com. Thank you so much. Peace and love, everybody.
Oh my gosh. Stay tuned for Tony Dorso.
Oh, yeah. Tony Dorso's on next. The Tony Dorso Show. All right.
Goodbye.
Bye.